Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for attending today. Appreciated by myself. It's good that us as the award organisation do this kind of thing to get any communication out there where we've got a change that's happening. First, I'd just like to say, obviously, the reason why we've settled this, and you might be asking why we're changing from our current exams platform, which is known as Civica, to a new one. I'd like to say here at Training Qualifications UK, we're always looking to improve our systems. We don't stand still, and any development that we can do, we will do. With Excel Soft, which is a company that we're using, we saw an opportunity to help develop a system with simplicity at its core, not only for the learner, but also for the centres and the invigilators. We've listened to what our customers have said, and it's one of the main reasons why we decided to move to a new exam system, which is successfully being used for our functional skills exams. So those of you who might have joined and are using our functional skills, nothing's changed there. It will look exactly the same as it does for functional skills. Just to introduce myself, my name is Matt Smith. I'm the exams manager. My team are responsible for and facilitating the bookings of exams. Now, that could be to do with functional skills. It could be to do with our endpoint assessments or are regulated. But anything that uses the exam system, my team are responsible for. What we're looking at today is mainly from the invigilator side of point of view. In terms of the learner experience, again, it's similar to our functional skills. The exam system is not too much dissimilar from our Civica exam system. One of the main things from a learner aspect there is the system runs on Google Chrome currently, and only Google Chrome will facilitate the exam running there. Well, this webinar is more about the invigilator and what invigilation needs to do in relation to the system. So I'll show you how to log in and access the invigilator portal. I will show you how to unlock the exams for learners so they can begin their tests. And also, once the test's complete, I'll just show you how to complete that online invigilation form. And at the end of that, it's closing for any questions. But just a reminder there that if you're currently delivering functional skills with us, you're already familiar with the system, nothing's changed. Following this, we'll be sending out further guidance materials ahead of the change onto the new exam system. So to share my screen first of all. Now, the booking process will remain the same as it is now. So whether you use our EPA Pro to make the booking through Gateway, whether you use our Verve Management Suite system to make bookings, nothing's changed in relation to that booking. Once a booking is made, then the system will generate an automatic email with details. So if you're the invigilator, then you will receive an email once a booking's been made with your login details. So you'll have your username, you'll have a password. There'll be a link to the homepage of the exam system, and there'll also be what we call a batch name. Now, that batch name will become important when you come to complete the invigilation form after the exam, and I'll talk about that as we get onto the invigilation form. But as an invigilator, you'll use those details to sign in here. This is the homepage. And I'm just using a test account for demonstration purposes. Once you're logged in, you'll be presented with this homepage. And all you need to look at is the exam monitoring system here, found on the left-hand side. And you'll come up with the various options. You've got test monitoring system, upload essay response, invigilation form, audit trail, and student verification. The only ones that you need to be worried about as an invigilator are the student verification and the invigilation form. So you've arranged for the learner to come in and you're going to conduct the online exam. You as the invigilator will need to unlock that exam. Now, the learner can't access the exam until it's been unlocked. And how you would do that as an invigilator, you would select student verification and it'll ask for the login name. Here, you need to have the login name for the user, which will be their email address. That email address will be something that you've provided to Training Qualifications UK for that learner. Once you've typed in the email address and click search, it should come up with the details here. So make sure you've got the correct login name for the learner. The candidate name will be there. The assessment, start and end date, the allocation ID, you don't need to know it as an invigilator. The learner exam number, again, you don't really need to know that. This page really, as the invigilator, the only thing you need to do is, as I say, check the details are correct, make sure they've been booked onto the right exam, and it's this button here is where you're going to unlock that exam. So by clicking on admit, then you're allowing that learner to proceed and take their exam. Once you've clicked on admit, you should get a message, user registration successful, and the message has changed from admit to access enabled, which means the learner is able to access their exam. That's how an invigilator will unlock that exam for that learner. The learner then will log in on their own device, complete their exam, and once it's complete, as the invigilator, you will then need to complete the invigilation form. And this is something we've had really good positive feedback on. It's on the system. It's not a piece of paper that you have to send back. It's not a piece of paper that you have to upload. The form is actually on the system itself. And you would find that, again, go to your homepage, the exam monitoring system, select invigilation form. And this is where you come up with this page, and this is where I'll talk about the batch. You can see the batch there. Your test centre, it should automatically select you as the test centre. The start date is the date range where the booking's been made or the exam has been sat, and then you need to find that batch. Now, as I mentioned before, when a booking email is sent to the invigilator, it will include the batch name. And that batch name for the learner will be the learner's name and the date of the exam. So that particular user I used before in the demonstration, UPA user 114, that's the batch name. You click view and it'll come up with the online invigilation form. Again, you'll be able to see the apprentice name there, the assessment name, and what you're looking to fill in here. Any comments? If the invigilation and the exam was conducted and there's no issues, then you can type in there no issues in the form. And then you've got a toggle on, toggle off in relation to these questions here. And it's either a yes or a no. Again, if you need to type anything, if there's been any maladmin during this exam, type it in there, let us know. Once that's done, all you need to do is click save. Get a message, updated batch details successfully. So that invigilation there is complete. What my team will do is once the exam's complete, they'll be checking that form is completed. If there's any comments on there, again, they'll read those comments. And if there isn't maladministration, then they'll refer it to the relevant department. But that's the invigilation form filled in. Ideally, we do request it be filled in an hour after the exam has been taken. But generally, the form is quite a simple form to use. Once it's saved, it then goes to my team to make the necessary checks. And that's all that's required from an invigilator in terms of an exam being taken online. Like I say, you first of all unlocking that exam by clicking admit for the learner. And then once the exam is complete, ideally within the hour of the exam being finishing, you can come into here and completing that form. It's over to you, really, with any questions. Okay, there's a question there. Is there any way to verify, admit multiple learners at once? Running a room of 18 students is going to take a fair amount of time verifying them one at a time. Currently, there isn't a way to admit more than one. You'd have to be individual, but we are working with our developers to resolve that issue there. Good question. What I would say, with 18 students in a room and if they're doing an online exam, we do recommend the ratio of 1 to 10, just because it's an online exam for an invigilator, unless you've got more than one invigilator in that room. Okay, we've got, what date is the new system being placed for the current one? We are looking at launching this on the 28th of October, so 2 weeks yesterday would have been. Joseph, you're asking a question there. You're assuming that we don't have to record and review functional skills exams now. We can invigilate them in-house. The online exams, you can invigilate them within the centre, within the training provider, if that's answering your question there. Does the learner side look any different? If you're talking about the functional skills system, no, it doesn't. Obviously, the only thing that does change is the type of questions they're answering, which will be predominantly multiple choice for a lot of the standards that we do. What would you say the biggest change is? I would say, certainly from an invigilator's point of view, it's that online form. It makes it so easy just to complete that form and save it. You're not worrying about filling in the form and emailing it to us, which is our current process, or uploading it onto the system. That the form for invigilation is on there. Also, from our previous exam system, Civica, it does currently use, and I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, it currently uses Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge. Currently, this new exam system for the learner will only use Google Chrome. Our learners and invigilators get access to the new platform. As mentioned, once a booking's been made, there will be details within that email of how to access the exam. There will be a link to the exams page. There will also be on our homepage a link that will take you direct. It'll be known as the exams. There's already FS exams, functional skills exams tab there, but there'll also be a link on our homepage there. That'll take you to that homepage. Same with the invigilators. Again, the email, the booking email, will have details of the link that takes them to where they need to go in the system. Does the form need to be complete for each learner, or can it be done under one batch? Currently, it will need to be done for each learner, but again, we are looking for a form that does do batch. I know functional skills, if you do have a batch of learners, you can complete that form for that batch. With the endpoint assessments and the MCQs, we are working on getting that form completed for more than one. Will we need to download new testing software? No, you won't. There's no testing software that you need to download. As mentioned, the link in the emails, or the link that will be available on our website, will take you directly to that homepage. There's no download of any software required. Please, can you advise whether this platform will be for DEC Level 2 and Level 3 qualifications? Unfortunately, Neil, at the moment, the DEC Level 2 and 3 are paper-based. We will look at getting that on the system and potentially making it available if there is a requirement there from our training providers and schools and colleges who deliver DEC. Will there be an opportunity of running mocks so students can test the process and get familiar with it? We are working on that. Certainly with the functional skills, we are looking at a mock portal, and eventually our endpoint assessments, our MCQ questions will be on that mock portal, but that currently is still under development. Darren, yes, Darren Smith there asking the question, I assume the option for Training Qualifications UK to complete the MCQ invigilation is still available. Yes, it is. Your learners still can take the exams remotely, as they do now. Probably 95% of our MCQs for our endpoint assessment exams are done remotely, so nothing changes there. The learners will be able to take their exams at any place, anywhere. We will conduct that invigilation after the fact. Question there from Amanda. Is there an invigilator certificate needed for using the system? There isn't any kind of invigilator certificate required to use the system. As I say, what we will do in the coming weeks, we'll produce a video of what I've just shown you there, bit of guidance material for the invigilators, so they know how to access the system. But also, our customer service team are always on hand to provide that support between our office hours. So there's a question there. We mostly deliver our functional skills exams on site at the employee's premises. What would the procedure be if there are any internet connection difficulties on the day, considering the platform is exclusively online based? Unfortunately, like anything, there's not a lot we can do with the strength of the internet, wherever the location may be. As you know, internet speed can dip throughout the exam. If there are experiencing difficulties during taking that exam, then it might have to be rescheduled and a consideration of a paper-based exam, depending on what standard it is and whether that's an option within the assessment plan for that particular standard. Question there from Sasha. As a training provider, can our assessors invigilate their own learners' exams this way? Unfortunately, there's a bit of a conflict of interest if you're an invigilator and the assessor for that particular learner. So yes, you can be an invigilator from the training provider, but it cannot be someone who's got an influence directly with that learner. Question there, do we have to make a note of any exam access arrangements used on the invigilation form? It would be useful if you did make a note on that. Obviously, just also make sure that it has been used correctly, but it would be useful to make a note on there. Obviously, we'll have a record of the approval if it has been approved from our operations team who authorise the regional adjustments. Okay, I think what we'll do, like I say, if you've got any more questions, then please email in exams@tquk.org. I think we'll end the session there. Please provide any feedback if you have got any further questions, and just reach out.